I recently Googled, out of curiosity, quote, have the Conservatives ever done anything good for average Canadians, unquote. And it was an interesting exercise I recommend anyone doing, especially because an AI overview wasn't available for the search, which told me there wasn't anything good they'd done for Canadians. And the results bore that out. The second item in was a Quora opinion post from some dude named Bob Wilson, who claims he's a Canadian and born in 1954. Clearly conservative. He threw together a word salad of stats that I found errors in. An example is how he claims Conservatives increased healthcare spending 6% a year for 10 years for a total of 70%. Well, first of all, Bob, 6 times 10 equals 60 last time I checked. So I Googled that. The search was, did the Conservative government increase healthcare spending 6% a year for 10 years? And the answer? Shocker. But the answer was, quote, no, the Conservative Party did not consistently increase healthcare spending for 6% annually for 10 years, unquote. Well, they did agree to a 6% annual increase in healthcare transfers as part of the 2004 Health Accord, which was instituted by a Liberal government under Paul Martin for a 10-year period. They did not renegotiate the accord to continue this level of increase beyond 2014 when they took power, and then slashed $36 billion from healthcare in 2015 instead of renewing the accord. The second part of Bob's misinformed opinion piece was that, quote, the Liberals lowered the increase to 3% 18 months after taking office, which is also untrue. What actually happened was the Conservatives, after slashing that $36 billion from healthcare, chose to tie healthcare spending increases to a percentage of GDP. And the number they chose was 3%. What actually happened was Trudeau opted to leave that metric in play. So no, it wasn't the Liberals who lowered the 6% to 3%, and it wasn't the Conservatives who increased it to 6% either. But folks, this is what Conservatives like Bob do. They either present an opinion as fact without actually checking, or twist a fact to make the Conservatives look like the heroes. And that's what I talk about in other posts that I do, the importance of discerning between fact and opinion, because feelings and opinions are not facts. So back to the original discussion. When I Googled what did Conservatives do for everyday Canadians, all that came up of any substance was criticism after criticism of them. Headlines like, quote, PP, in it for banks, billionaires, and big polluters. Or that PP is a career politician and that's not a good thing. Or Conservatives' economic record went from bad to worse. Or PP's economic populism masks the same old failed Conservative policies. And, quote, Canada's Conservatives have the worst economic record in post-war history. And, quote, the myth of Conservative Canada. But you know, they've promised and, with bygone days, sometimes delivered tax cuts. For the rich, mostly. And at what cost? They achieved it by slashing and burning or privatizing the essential services that average everyday Canadians rely on most. You know, education, healthcare, emergency services, roads, etc. I guess I'm still in shock that people continue to vote for them despite all this. Peace out, and if you're not already following me, you should. It's going to be a ride.